So I know the people have been clamoring for my return, and we're going to return talking about the anti-Cybertruck campaign that has been sweeping across the West. But basically, I haven't uploaded a video since about like 9 days ago, and I haven't recorded for probably about 11 days. I've just been so insanely sick. I'm still not feeling better right now. And just to let you guys all know, no good deed goes unpunished. My sister was really ill. It was her birthday, so I sat with her for like 4 hours watching the Hunger Games too. I accepted to myself I would get sick, but if I knew how sick I was going to get, I probably wouldn't have done that nice thing. And it wasn't COVID. It was just such like an insane flu. I went through all the symptoms right now. Throughout this video, I'm sure I'm going to be having coughing fit breaks because I haven't been able to stop coughing for the last 5 days as a nice like end to my illness. So I apologize for lack of uploads. It obviously sucks when you're self-employed because yeah, there's no YouTuber sick pay. And more importantly, for me, is more like the momentum in the algorithm. You don't want to just give up like 2 weeks for no reason. So that's been hard, but we're just going to have to forget about it. I'm going to work hard this week to make it up to you, make it up to myself for like views and income and algorithm and stuff. Now, I have a lot of good videos to make this week. I just thought this one was funny and a bit of like a lighter one to start off with, just because I'm still not feeling great, still not looking great. But yeah, if you want to support my work, check me out on social media. Go check me out on Instagram. All the links in the description. Support me on YouTube memberships and support me on Patreon. Appreciate everyone's support. And fresh from my Blue Sky interaction with Ben Stiller, I'm feeling good. So let's get into it. So I saw this artwork going around. I'm going to try and find the original source. I'll try and find the author and put his name on screen. But it's the Tiananmen Square tank guy. But it's like a whole thing full of Cybertrucks. It is always funny to me when Americans are talking about other countries. They're kind of like, oh, yeah, it's like we're living in China right now. And as people got butthurt in one of my videos when I last made them, I said, oh, like, America is the most evil country in the world. And you don't need like these Chinese comparisons from the 1980s to make your point that America is currently suffering as well, considering that, yes, America does have its own terrible history of suppressing protest and doing very terrible things to its own citizens. But why people are doing this and why people are writing and drawing art like this in regards to the Cybertruck is, of course, Elon Musk essentially becoming the shadow president and just doing loads of terrible cuts which affect pretty much every facet of the US government. So now, in light of shadow president Musk, obviously Tesla to a lot of people is a symbol of Elon Musk, and Tesla users are throwing these stickers around pretending that they bought Tesla cars before Elon went crazy. I find that hard to believe considering he's been crazy for like nearly 10 years. But at the same time, if you bought it after 2020, it's pretty clear he was a terrible person. So I don't have much sympathy for people in that way. But yeah, basically what we've seen across America is Teslas and mainly Cybertrucks getting defaced with anti-fascist graffiti because Elon Musk is helping Donald Trump to speedrun fascism. And now we're getting two protest camps. We're getting the anti-fascist targeting Tesla, and we're also getting pro-Trump Tesla supporters who want to counter-protest. I thought this was funny. Well, the second one's funny. But anti-fascist groups vowed to inflict physical damage on Tesla starting today. And this is from Car Scoop and Stephen Rivers. So create enough shame to make it onerous for anyone to buy or operate a Tesla branded vehicle. That's the mission statement of a group calling itself Sane for Students Against Nazi Extremists in California. How will they elicit such shame in their community? No, it's not by telling owners how disappointed they are, but resorting to violence, vowing to inflict physical damage to Tesla-branded vehicles, and according to them, it all begins today. So according to the local coast outpost, the group sent in a manifesto and took responsibility for leaving threats on at least 13 Teslas in California. The group, which allegedly has just 10 members, plans to begin damaging cars on February 12th through the end of the month. In notes left on the cars in question, it demanded that the owners sell their cars by the 12th or face vandalism. So they've just been posting these flyers on like everyone with Tesla cars. One resident targeted by the group sent a note to Lost Coast Outpost in response to the threat left on the car, saying, "How ironic that this threat is directed at a community that overwhelmingly supports democratic ideals. In lieu of violence, may I suggest the perpetrators donate to progressive causes, write postcards to encourage voting, call their political reps in Congress, and support businesses engaged in fair practices. We are not the enemies and neither are our Teslas. In a final note of irony, I am of Jewish descent. Fascist indeed. So I don't agree that because of your like Jewish background, you can't be a fascist, but let's say this person is saying I am also like a progressive, so you shouldn't target me based on my consumer choices. Now, I will say, like, if you have the time and energy to organize a group of people, defacing Teslas and smashing up Teslas and graffitiing Teslas, do I think that is the best use of your time? I don't think so. Like, I don't think they should do what this guy says, like the meaningless crap of write to your congressperson or tell people to go and vote. Like, I don't think that's actually that helpful either. It might even be more helpful than smashing up Tesla cars, though. Like, I'm all for, like, direct action and thinking outside the box. At the same time, actually physically damaging these cars, I don't think it's going to change anything. I don't mind publicly shaming people for having them. I think that's all fair game. And we actually spoke about that one person in the last video who was saying, can everyone be nice to me because I have a Cybertruck and I didn't know he was crazy. And she was just talking about people being mean to her. I don't mind that so much. But yeah, going around smashing up people's cars, I don't think achieves much, to be honest. You know, if you've got that time in your hands to organise a little cell of insurgents, do something better. So, in response, obviously, the Cybertruck community is aghast at the violence being directed towards their lovely cars. And from Talk News, Tesla Cybertruck owners call for a counter-protest to show support for Elon Musk. Say 200 Cybertrucks surrounding the anti-Tesla protesters will show them who the majority is. There's a Facebook group called Cybertruck Owners Only, but this author, Tinsei Aragay, is in the group responding to anti-Tesla protesters, and they're saying, where's the Fred coordinating a show of support for Elon Musk? These protesters in front of Tesla service centers need to see what a majority looks like. A couple hundred Cybertrucks surrounding them might do it. Fellow Cybertruck owner writes, Southern California here, I'm down for a Cybertruck caravan with Trump signs. Another Cybertruck owner says, where are these protests happening? I'd love to show them the new Cybertruck horn. Then one saying, I am a Cybertruck owner, a combat veteran, and a US taxpayer who agrees with political support for our president. While I respect your right to peaceful protest, I do not condone actions that involve harassing other Tesla owners, as they are not polite. We live in a free country, but it's important to remember that our rights apply to everyone. So I think they should add into US law like Tesla owner as a protected characteristic, just because these people are feeling so butthurt that their consumer choices are being protested. Also, you just know from what they're writing, they think they're so cool and badass. Let's get a convoy of Cybertrucks showing up to the counter-protest to show our allegiance to a corporation. But again, I made a video in 2018 talking about the cult of Tesla. Even though this seems like it could be like a political thing related to Donald Trump and Elon Musk, it's always been a cult, and they've always made this car and this corporation so much a part of their identity. I always found it strange, even when Elon Musk had a better reputation. But anyway, like I said, there's been lots more attacks on Cybertrucks and Teslas. Another graffiti tag said, fuck Musk on a Cybertruck. The hate is real. Haven't seen this before. The Tesla brand is broken. Going to have to sell my Cybertruck eventually. Now, I'm going to talk about this a bit later, but people have been putting bumper stickers on their Cybertrucks and Teslas saying, I bought this before Elon went crazy. Be kind. So the Cybertruck was announced in 2019. You couldn't get them until, 2022? Elon Musk has been a fascist, an open fascist, since 2021. So, no, you don't get a pass. Like, if you want to buy this product that enriches a terrible person, you don't get a pass because of allegedly you bought it before he went crazy. He didn't turn crazy in 2025. He's been a fascist for a long, long time, an open fascist. So that's your choice, and just own it. Like, if you don't want to be associated with this terrible product, and also that's the one thing to remember as well. Tesla, SpaceX, Twitter, they're kind of like uniquely associated with one guy. Like, there's not too many corporations that make like one person the face of their company as like a marketing thing, but that's what Tesla has done with Elon Musk and the other companies have. So you really cannot divorce them from each other. It's like divorcing J.K. Rowling from Harry Potter. In Elon's case, he didn't like invent a lot of his stuff. He just came in and bought it and bought the original creators out. At the same time, it's the same. You can't divorce them. But another one is funny. So Gold Cybetruck driver describes the threats and harassment he received after Elon Musk's Trump endorsement. So Gold Cybetruck, as if You weren't drawing enough attention to yourself. Now you have a gold Cybertruck because you want everyone to look at you. Because that's the main thing with these people. They just want attention. It's so sad. Just like their daddy Elon, they just want attention. This article was funny though. The owner, Dr. Kumate Jiroji, describes all the harassment he's been getting. He found a sticker with profane words on the back of his truck, which caused him to fear for his whole family. And his wife was crying. She was horrified, screaming out of her throat, "Don't drive that Cybertruck anymore." The life of privilege you have to live to get a mean letter on your car and start screaming out of your throat and crying. Like the image I'm seeing right now is just so fucking funny. Like, yet you're that fragile that someone doesn't like your consumer choice and you start crying your eyes out and screaming. The article goes on to say, the truck features an advertisement for his medical spa business, which he started 3 years ago. "I pursued my dream, and now I'm enjoying that free speech. But with this taking a different turn, this has made me very concerned. The colour of his truck does him no favours, since it attracts a lot of attention. He hopes people will stop harassing him." He also said he has tried to trade in his Tesla, but Tesla is not accepting Cybertruck trade-ins. And he also goes on to say, "If you disagree, don't retaliate, don't be violent, don't try and hurt your neighbour. You know we're all human." Yeah, like, don't hurt people for driving Cybertrucks. I think, like, as a justification for violence, it's one of the most stupid ones ever. But at the same time, I think out of all consumer choices where you're making a statement, Cybertruck, that is gold. It's not like you're trying to fly under the radar. You do want to stand out. And I would say that because of the political climate, like, yeah, maybe, like, get a new car. Like, I know a lot of people, like, finance cars. I'm going to say if you have enough money to buy a Cybertruck, because they are very expensive, I maybe don't feel too bad that you might have to trade it in and maybe just buy a cheap car for the meantime and try and sell it on Facebook or some shit. Don't have much sympathy, but that is like part of a wider trend of Elon Musk basically tanking Tesla's reputation because of stuff to do with the far right and like explicitly memeing about like World War II history. Although I'm not going to pretend Europe is some haven of anti-racism, because it's not. At the same time, a lot of people in Europe don't like explicit Nazism, mainly because they destroyed so much of Europe, right? So if you think about the UK, for example, UK was like colonial power during World War II, UK full of people with like very racist mindsets towards like minority groups, including Jews, but also, colonial subjects. Obviously, there's a whole generation, my grandparents' generation, if they were English probably, they grew up in the UK, they've actually had friends and families killed during the Blitz and stuff. Obviously, so many people died in World War II. You don't forget that, and it has a name, right? And although we recognise that a lot of fascism in this period and just terrible atrocities done throughout the colonial period was also perpetrated by people in the United Kingdom, at the same time, people in the Netherlands, UK, France, they still have this association that this type of stuff is bad, right? So if Elon Musk memeing and doing these salutes and making light of all this stuff, people don't appreciate that, and they could be more conservative, and they could generally maybe agree with Elon Musk politics, but they don't like that stuff. But like their parents might have been traumatized by the war, their parents' siblings might have been killed during the war by these people. To a lot of people in Europe, it's not funny. And America is far different when it comes to this stuff, because first of all, it inspired it. Second of all, the American homeland was basically never attacked during the Second World War. Like, if we're not counting overseas colonies like Hawaii and places like that, America was never attacked. America had this big population, largely unaffected by the war, and in terms of military casualties, it's about the same as the UK, despite being a far bigger nation. So America never suffered at the hands of Germany like the rest of Europe did. So America doesn't have the same attitude, especially considering what happened after the war, where the Americans were the main architects of just rehabilitating Germans, and they made a lot of Europeans swallow the pill, because in a lot of Europe, they still hated Germany after the war, and that's why America led this project to rehabilitate members of the German state during this period. And Rommel was the best example, where he was fed as, this is the good German. This is the guy who tried to end it all. He tried to stop Hitler and stuff. So they're not all bad. They're not all bad, and swallow this propaganda, because we need the West Germans to fight communism. So an article by Carlton Reid at Wired, he wrote about this. Elon Musk's toxicity among Europeans is such that many owners of Tesla news websites have ditched Muskmobiles for other EV brands. John Gibbs of Birmingham, England, runs what he calls the world's biggest Tesla inventory site. and the largest database of new and used Tesla motors in the world, and he used to own one himself and now drives a BMW. Likewise, Tim Rage-Vanger of the Netherlands, founder of Tesla 360, a Dutch everything Tesla site, recently sold his Model Y. Both entrepreneurs pinned their car switch on Musk's support for European far-right parties and his salute. While Musk might have gotten away with the salute in some parts of the world, European markets reject such behaviour. World War II still casts a long shadow. He may be right, Tesla sales are in freefall in Europe right now. Last month in Norway, where EVs overtook internal combustion vehicles in total market share in 2024, it recorded a biting 37.9% slump. At the same time, Tesla sales in France fell by 63%, and it gets even worse. In Spain, it plummeted by 75%. So the guy who founded the Netherlands site, he said he's owned several cars, Tesla cars. Later this year, he planned to upgrade to another one, but he offloaded his current Model Y, and he said, I received only half of the original price when selling it, but I do not want to be associated with Elon Musk ideology. So it seems like Europe doesn't see the joke, where Elon Musk thinks he's memeing and he thinks it's so funny. Obviously, you had Spain as well being at the highest in terms of the falling sales of Tesla. I don't know why specifically, if anyone in Spain could enlighten me. But yeah, what we're seeing here is one man basically tank his car company. But the thing is, this is what is so depressing. It's probably worth it to him, because as much as it's fun to talk about how this might like hurt his bottom line, might hurt his share prices, what he's doing is basically he's trading in his public reputation with the world. He's trading it in to be more cozy with the US government. And Elon Musk companies pretty much, I think, are some of the biggest companies that get these massive US contracts, right? Including things like with the Department of Defense. And recently they're trying to worm their way more into NASA. So the trade-off of everyone hating him in Europe and these sales plummeting for Tesla, the trade-off for Elon Musk is he's getting political power. He's getting to do whatever the fuck he wants within the US government. And instead of funding himself through car sales, he's just funding himself more and more through US taxpayer money. And that's going to be a worthwhile trade-off, because he's making an alliance with the most powerful nation in the entire world, and he's getting in there as this shadow president. So although there are people defacing Teslas, people trading in Teslas, people selling their own Teslas, and this huge drop in people buying Teslas, I don't think it really matters, sadly. It's funny people are trying to justify their consumer purchases saying, oh, I didn't know Elon was crazy, or I still love my car and, you know, I don't really care about Elon Musk politics. You shouldn't criticize my consumer choice. That's all funny and, like, you know, can make an interesting conversation. But at the end of the day, the sad thing is he's pretty much untouchable at this point. He was untouchable before because of his massive wealth and, you know, all these companies he owns. And now he is just like actually untouchable. He's not even confirmed. He's unelected. No civilian body put him in power. He's just in power because he paid Donald Trump enough and he helped Donald Trump enough. And now he just gets to do whatever he wants to the US government. The only thing that can stop him is Donald Trump eventually getting really sick of him. And that's pretty much it at this point. So that is it for the video. Again, thanks for sticking with me when I've been ill. I've been coughing so much recording this. Let me know what you guys think. The videos are going to get better throughout the week, hopefully. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.